Hello, our dear viewers, and welcome to a new edition of our program, Africa Today. The Finance Ministry said Egypt is the only country in the Middle East and Africa to retain global assessment institutions' ratings. It said the economy is diversified and growing. More details with Samah Sharif in the following report.
Egypt's Ministry of Finance said the country has been the only in the Middle East and Africa to retain the confidence of the three international assessment institutions of Fitch Ratings, S&P Global Ratings and Moody's. It said Fitch's recent affirmation of Egypt's credit rating at B+ for the fourth time during the coronavirus pandemic is considered an international certificate of trust in the Egyptian economy's ability to face the current global economic difficulties. He said the Egyptian economy is diversified and is growing, arguing that the financial and economic reforms have made the country more solid and cohesive in dealing positively with global crises. He said Egypt recorded its highest semi-annual growth rate since the beginning of the millennium at 9% of GDP during the period from July to December 2021. Fitch Ratings affirmed Thursday Egypt's long-term foreign currency issuer default rating IDR at B+ with a stable outlook. Fitch elaborated in a report that Egypt's ratings are supported by its recent record of fiscal and economic reforms, its large economy with robust growth, and strong support from bilateral and multilateral partners. Moody's expects the Egyptian economy to grow 5.5% in the current fiscal year 2021-2022. Moody's warned that non-performing loans will rise with the decline in support measures to counter the effects of the pandemic, but it believes the loan growth will make the non-performing loan ratio stabilize at 4%.
To shed more light on that issue, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Mr. Raouf Gaafar, our economic expert. Mr. Gaafar, good afternoon to you. Hello, sir. Mr. Gaafar?
Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Fine. Yes.
Mr. Gaafar, how do you see reasons why Egypt retained its position by the credit rating institutions?
I think the most important factor was the economic reforms that were performed over the last year in a very thorough and impeccable way. This represented really the milestone for what we are in today. And this gave us the opportunity to overcome the crisis of the COVID-19 when it hit the whole world. And we managed to keep our growth rate in the positive where everybody else were going down. And same thing still with the new unfortunate crisis, Ukraine and Russia, affected the whole world. But again, thanks to a very solid infrastructure, we are sustaining this crisis, and we are keeping our growth rate once again in the positive, with prospects to increase from 3% to maybe to 4 and 5, and all the projections of the financial institutions all over the world are giving us this credit. I mean, they look to our future. It's very promising. That's why we are keeping stable in their view over the 3 or 4 last assessments. But the projection for the future is looking more and more positive, inshallah.
Yes, sir. What are the current strong points of the Egyptian economy from your point of view?
Well, we have increased our exports. In my opinion, we produce some of the goods that are particularly agricultural products that do not exist in other parts of the world with very high quality. We are now ranked as the top exporter and producer of citrus fruits and some other fruits. plus potatoes and some other vegetables. So we have established a very high reputation in those products, and the whole world is looking to buy from us. So this is one solid thing. Thank God. Now we have other resources like gas, for instance. We are about to be self-sufficient as far as gas is concerned, and hopefully we will enter the export market, so we become an exporter of gas in the very near future, inshallah. So, I mean, these are things that help our economy grow, and mind you, again, some measures have been taken to limit our imports of unnecessary goods, just to balance our balance. I mean, financial, etc. We have employed a lot of people in the mega projects that were that took place over the last years. These are all factors, when added to one another, help a lot in bettering and improving the economy.
Yes. Sir, how would you list here the hurdles to the Egyptian economy?
Well, I mean, of course, incidents, I mean, I'm talking global incidents that can hurt the economy, like the COVID-19, like this conflict between Russia and Ukraine.
Indeed.
These are on the, of course, on the international level. But I think the main hurdle in Egypt is the population growth that is really going very high. And this is a hurdle. Thank God the president and the government are starting to take real serious measures to confront this hurdle. And I'm sure we will pass it with very strong effort, but we will manage, inshallah, to do it.
Yes. Sir, how has the coronavirus pandemic impacted the economy?
I mean, the close down that occurred with the corona pandemic has caused the whole world economy to slow down, and the country, it has practically stopped. And we have been affected like all other countries, but thank God our government was able to keep a very delicate balance between continuing production, etc., and closing down partially, not fully. And this, I think, it was a crisis management that was done very scientifically and very thorough, and this is what made us pass through it. But again, the closing down made it very difficult for a lot of countries, especially Africa, for instance. We know Africa suffered a lot from the pandemic, but we managed to we're still, I mean, the corona has not disappeared from the world. As a matter of fact, it is changing into different variants and so on and so forth, but it is still there, and the waves are going up and down, but so far we have managed to work it out beautifully, and I am sure we'll continue doing that.
Yes. Actually, sir, the pre-pandemic Africa was the highest continent with expected growth rate. How has this changed after the pandemic and its repercussions?
Africa is, although full of resources, and in my opinion, it's a very rich continent, but the resources are not exploited, or at all, or very badly exploited, or exploited by foreign countries. But I mean, the people of Africa have never benefited from their own wealth
Yes.
the way they should have. But in any event, being poor, if I may say, and not having enough resources, made the repercussions of the pandemic very big on the African continent, and suffered a lot.
Yes.
Still suffering, as a matter of fact. We as Egyptians tried to ease up a little bit